try to look pure. We try to look creative. We try to look good. We try to look cool. And all the while we know that deep down inside we're about ready to collapse. And this is the thing. God isn't angry about that. He is sad about it. He wants his children back. He wants his sons and his daughters back. He wants you to just get rid of all that stuff that people say that you need. All of the little in-between priests. Jesus was the high priest. What did he show? He showed us how to lead them to the Father. Just lead them to the Father. In the 17th century, Christians, Brugman says that Christians got afraid of science, and so they started focusing on absolutes instead of on relationship. We started getting everything in our head instead of really seeing and having a relationship with our heart. So it's like, really what Jesus was after was that we'd have a relationship with the Father. And the Spirit of the Lord would lead our lives. And then we'd have a relationship with each other, right? And that's what we're really supposed to be about as believers. Bringing our worship to our life together, right? Bringing our relationship with the Father to our life with each other, right? That's what we're about. But we've become a people of ideas. And you know what a people of ideas become? They become a divided people. So we have this group of people with their ideas, and 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 then we've, and especially in capitalistic societies, we've cut it off into little clientele-based groups. And this is this group with their ideas, and this group with their ideas, and this group with their ideas, and this group with their ideas. 200 years ago, Kierkegaard, trying to reform the church, said, we shouldn't have any of that. If you have an idea in your mind about God, you've made an end of Jesus. We end at you and your idea. Christianity has become about man's ideas and doctrines and thoughts about God. It becomes this thought in our mind, right? Instead of, we don't worship our thought. We don't follow a thought about God. We follow God. Right? So the really awesome teachers in our day right now, what they're doing is they're coming alongside, and instead of, come up here. Come here. So instead of, yeah, I'm not a teacher, I'm just a brother. Okay? And there are great teachers in the body of Christ that we need to be under and learn from. And there are a lot of people in the body of Christ that call themselves teachers that are nothing but charismatic people, in the sense that they've got a skill to talk. But they don't really know that much. But they're good people. They're not really teachers. I think that's a good clarification in our day. We need to start learning who real teachers are in the body. They don't tend to divide. This is what they do. They don't deductively teach us information. Here's God, here's the Son. And here's the teacher, the priest, in between. What would you like to tell God? I'll tell him for you. He loves you. What do you think about him? Oh, he thinks you're a pretty good guy. You know, what happens is I get in between him, see. This is what real Jesus style is. God's right here. and you come to me and you say, I have a question about Jesus. So say that to me. Yeah, maybe say, I'm really frustrated with something. Yeah, okay. So, and so I don't say, well, I need to control you because you're part of my clientele group and you tithe to me and you know, no. I need to control your thinking. You have a question about God. Whoa! Oh my goodness! No. This is what we do. I don't try to convince him. You don't have any questions about God. He's the best. No, what we do is we just say, well, why don't you ask him? And then I'll just sit here with you and just keep helping you to ask him. Until you start learning how to always ask him. And then eventually, you won't even need me beside you. Then eventually, you'll get beside somebody else. And I'll come to you and I'll say, man, I got some real struggles, man. This is not good. I was in the stock market and it blew up. Or whatever. I don't know what it is. You're just a worshiper. You don't know nothing about the stock market. So what do you say? You don't say, well, let me tell you a few things I read in the newspaper the other day. No, you say what you should say. You say, why don't you ask? Come on, push me over a little. Yeah, not too hard. See, why don't you ask him? What do you think? And then you know what you say? You just say, so what did he tell you? I'm waiting to hear what he told you. With that kind of belief, what did he tell you? Well, he told me this. See? That's what we do, right? Amen. That's what we do. From the Reformation on, we started ignoring our imagination. The Enlightenment tried to steal away our imagination. We weren't supposed to be people of the Enlightenment in that sense. It wasn't enlightening at all. You know what the Enlightenment did for us? It made us all start to get real logical. So you go into this group and you go into this group, even in the church. You need to come to the Lord through my theology. You need to see God through my worldview, through my scope. You need to see Jesus this way. This is what happens eventually in all of our lives. 70% of what I learned in seminary, I don't even believe anymore. You end up believing the basic things that Jesus revealed. There's all sorts of mysteries in the Bible that all sorts of people are trying to talk about and get us all excited about. I'll give you an example. Remember the boys, the fishermen, they're on the boat with Jesus. Remember? And the wind and the waves, they're going over the boat so high that it's rocking the boat. And these fishermen that have been out on the water for a long time, they're terrified, right? They're scared. And what's Jesus doing? Sleeping. And they get so upset at Jesus. You better wake up! You know, I think actually Jesus might have been faking. I really do. I mean, just using my imagination, but it's like, how could he be sleeping? I mean, it's a little fisher boat. It's not some big, huge yacht. He's sleeping and water's going over the boat. I'm just kind of joking, but you know, seriously, he could have been faking. But it's just kind of like, you know, looking out of his eye like you do with your kids. You know what I mean? But whether he was or not, it doesn't really matter. They come over, he wakes up, he calms the wind and the waves, and then they're more terrified that after he calmed the wind and the waves. And then he says, how long do I have to be with you? This stuff puts me to sleep. You guys are all scared about this stuff. You're scared about the wind and the waves. I'm not scared about the wind and the waves. I'll take you to another place. How about Gethsemane? is eternal. Eternity puts us to sleep until we are awakened to its reality. This is what Jesus comes back, and he's upset at them now. You can't even stay awake for an hour for this stuff. Oswald Chambers walks into the room in most churches in America, and he probably would put them to sleep. Why? Because maybe he doesn't joke. Or maybe he has no music. Maybe he has no song. Or maybe the song isn't what we like. And he talks about eternal things. Things that will transform culture if we'll implement the kingdom in our lives every day. And we pass out. You know what we're in a day? We're in a day where we're going to have to drink some coffee to read some of the stuff that we need to be reading. We need to drink some coffee and read the Word. Amen. Oswald Chambers would go through the Bible 18 times a year. There are other men of God that went a lot more than that. How much have we really advanced in the last 100 years? All that's happened is we've gotten more distractions. Amen. I'm not being religious at all. This is not tradition in religion. You need to read your Bible. If you don't want to read the Bible, don't read the Bible. Be an idiot and watch television. Serious. Let everybody else lead the creative way. Don't get educated. Don't learn. Don't read. Just sit around and be stupid and wait for Jesus. That's what we taught in the 70s. Guys were getting wealthy off of books about how the late great planet Earth, getting wealthy off of books, and you know what we decided to do? To shut down because Jesus was coming back. Pull all of our kids out of society. Oh, come be by me. Just stay right here. Don't move. Stop. Why do we do that? Stay close to me because I am right. No, I am a control freak. What does that mean? People are wondering why they have so much terrible things happening in their homes and in their lives, and sicknesses and disease and all sorts of things. It's because you're screaming at your wife, or you're yelling at her, or you're telling her to submit, but you never submit. The Lord is the ruler over our home. Do you know that the moment I said that, we have never, ever, one time, ever had anything like that occur? Not even once. I started saying that all the time, the Lord. In fact, it's such a funny thing in our family. When I am rude to Rachel or say something I shouldn't say, my daughter is always, and my daughter and my son, they're like, you better ask for forgiveness right now. Why do I say that? Because the Lord wants to rule. And not only does He want to rule, He does rule. And He's just looking for us to accept that. And He's really about relationship. It's been said that the highest things, the things that really matter, we can't achieve on our own. We have to accept them as gifts and enter into the dynamic of the gift. And that happens in the context of faith in Jesus, who is dialogue. What I mean by that, he is a living relationship with the Father. He wants to become Word and love within us as well. Just read a couple verses and tell you a couple stories. Hebrews chapter 8, verse 11. This is part of the new promise. None of them shall teach his neighbor and none his brother, saying, Know the Lord, for all shall know me, from the least of them to the greatest of them. None of them shall teach his neighbor and none his brother, saying, Know the Lord, for all shall know me, from the least of them to the greatest of them. Jesus is the authority, Jesus is the ruler, and Jesus wants relationship with us, and he doesn't want me to get in the way of people or have people pass through me to get to him. He wants me just to nudge them. He doesn't want me to tell people, oh, if you listen to me, then you can learn to hear the voice of the Lord. What he's longing for is for us to get to a place where I say, you are hearing the voice of the Lord. Like God is speaking to you. And I'm just here to help you recognize that he's already speaking to you. It's not about doing a certain thing to get God to speak to you. We even in some circles think that God is distant from us. As if he leaves us. God, he never leaves us. We always, biblically, historically, we always leave him. And I'm not saying, he still never leaves us. But we turn our back away from him. See, we're the ones that turn away from him. He never turns away from us. He never leaves us. In some circles, it's like, I feel like sometimes we believe more that the devil knows our name than that God knows our name. In reality, the devil probably doesn't even know where we live. But God knows where you live. And that's the heartbreak of God throughout all time. He wants to actually share in our life. He wants to share in our pain. He wants to share in our sickness. He wants to share in our jokes. He wants to share in your laughter. He wants to share. He wants to actually share in the experience. He's already there with you. Have you ever shared your movie with him? Oh, you're crazy. Well, then this whole thing's crazy. Christianity's crazy if that's crazy, because that's what Jesus called us to. See? Right? Share your movie with him. Or if you don't believe in going to movies, don't share your movie with them. You know what I mean? Share you're not going to movie with them. Share everything with him. Man, everything gets kind of panned out if we share it with him. Answers, you know. We lost a baby in October. And I remember as a man, you know, you sit down next to your wife after she loses the baby. And we were real excited about having this baby. And you want to fix it. Or you want to say something. And I remember this friend of ours, thank God for this friend and his wife of ours. They just had the common sense and the spiritual wisdom to just say, right now, just go to Jesus. They never said one thing to us. They just said, right now, over the phone, they did this. Over the phone, we're on the phone with them. Okay, go to Jesus right now. Go to Jesus. Do you see Jesus? Do you see him? Do you see him with your baby right now? I see Jesus. We're crying. We're weeping. You see Jesus? Yeah, I see Jesus. All right. Does Jesus have the baby? Jesus is going to take care of that baby now. Are you willing to give the baby to Jesus? Well, it's in 2 hours. Our kids are going to be home from school, and my son, he went to the 3D ultrasound and saw the baby, and he's so excited about the baby. What do we do? What do we do? Like, we can't ignore it. We can't just blow it off. We got to tell Samuel about it. He knows this baby's coming. He's excited for his little brother. What are we going to do? This friend of mine had the spiritual sense to say, bring him to Jesus. Remember, we sat on the bed. Our little 1-year-old Lucy's running around, throwing stuff everywhere, screaming. That's the context. It isn't some spiritual context. It's just yelling and screaming and throwing toys. And we're sitting on the bed, and I say to Emma, my little 5-year-old at the time, she's 6 now. I said, Emma, I said, this is what happened. Jesus decided that he wanted the baby. He wanted to have the baby for himself, and so the baby's with Jesus now in heaven. And Emma said, well, did the baby die? Yeah, the baby died. Emma, the baby died. And I didn't really have that much faith for this, to be honest with you, but I looked at Emma in the eyes and I said, but you know what? You can see the baby right now. Go to Jesus. Just close your eyes right now, Emma, and go to Jesus. He's right here with us, Emma. I remember she closed her eyes. Emma's such an unbelievable kid. She's just so creative. She closed her eyes right away and she said, okay. I said, okay. Do you see Jesus? Yep, I see Jesus. Do you see the baby, Emma? Yep, I see the baby. I mean, Emma's so unbelievable. She just sees with her eyes of her heart so quickly. Immediately, my faith is building because this is going so well. I thought it was going to go horrible. I said, wow, you see Jesus? Yeah, I see Jesus. Yeah, I see the baby. Yep, I see the baby. I see the baby. Oh, the baby's so cute, she said. Oh, the baby's so cute. I said, what does the baby look like? Oh, it's a little boy. The baby's a little boy. And Jesus must have got clothes for the baby, because the baby's got little clothes on. I said, wow. Me and Rachel are crying. It's so beautiful. I said, well, Mommy and Daddy, we had to give the baby to Jesus. You want to give the baby to Jesus, Emma? Yeah, I'll give the baby to Jesus. So she gave the baby to Jesus. Jesus is going to take care of the baby now, Emma. Okay. Then my son Samuel. I have built up faith. I'm really excited now. I say, Samuel, are you ready to go to Jesus? He was kind of a little reluctant. I said, close your eyes. He closed his eyes. I said, do you see Jesus? No, he said. All I see is blackness. All I see is blackness, Daddy. Well, keep looking a little harder. Maybe you'll see him. So we sat there for a few minutes. You see him yet, Samuel? No, I just see blackness, he says. Thinking in my head, what can I say now? Maybe, do you hear him saying anything? No, all I hear is your voice. All I hear is you talking to me. That's all I hear. Oh, man. And then I said, well, if you don't hear me, you don't see him, I know he's here, Samuel. Why don't you tell him what you want to tell him? And I'll never forget this for the rest of my life. He said, with a loud voice, he screamed at Jesus and he said, "Give us the baby back!" And then he ran to his room. And I looked over at Rachel. I didn't even know what to say. We're both crying. And then Rachel says, as he leaves and he gets in his room and we hear him down there crying, I'm about ready to go down to him. And she says, "That's so amazing." I said, "Why?" She said, "Because that's the first thing I wanted to tell Jesus. But I didn't say it." We got our friends back on the phone and we told them what had happened. And they said, "Oh yeah, see, Samuel saw the baby. Samuel's the big brother. Samuel was protecting Rachel. See, he was becoming the big protector and he was speaking to Jesus. And you need to tell him that's okay because Jesus, he can handle that. He can handle your frustration, Samuel. It's okay that you're upset at him." And what was so precious is that, see, Rachel was getting delivered by that kind of statement, see. Because she knew she had felt that way, and God knew that she had felt that way. It's amazing how quickly you heal when you just go to Jesus. The healing is so much quicker when we just go to Jesus. Bring your worries to God. See? So maybe tonight, for a few moments, God wants to cultivate in us like a life of worship. Like that we're actively involved with the Father and the Son and everything. So right now, just close your eyes and just tell the Lord, Jesus, I want to know you more. I want to know you not in my mind. I want to know you with the eyes of my heart. I want to know you with the eyes of my heart. I want to have relationship with you. You're a person. Jesus, forgive me for thinking of you as that thing or that person. That you're the person that's right here. Make us a people of relationship with you. In Jesus' name.